So moving further with our next session for the day, which is an open space hosted by Agile Network India. And the session is facilitated by Priyank Pathak, who is the founder of Innovation Roots and Agile Network India. And before we proceed, I would like to thank our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots, which is a leading consulting and training service provider, helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and is well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more information, please visit www.innovationroots.com. And I would also like to thank our sponsor, Gile, which is a product offering from Tata Consultancy Services Limited. It is a purely cloud-based enterprise agile planning tool along with DevOps capability. Enterprises can use Agile to adopt agile practices or scale across multiple Scrum and Kanban teams using enterprise scaling frameworks such as SAFe, Disciplined Agile, Less and More. You can try out Agile for free for up to 20 users for 1 year by signing up agile.io. Or you can also reach out to us for any inquiries or exclusive product demo. Check out the Agile page on Agile Network India website for more information. And since it's an open session, I request all the participants to write down the themes, topics, questions that they might be interested in. Thank you. Over to you, Priyank.
Thank you, Shreya, and hello, everyone. Actually, it is the lunchtime, so I don't mind if you want to keep eating and talking both at the same time. And you're welcome to bring your lunch with this session. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to open this open space and talk about what we're going to do now. So why not we, and this is pretty much an open space, so you are welcome to start your camera, come on the mic, and do whatever you like to do now. So, but we're going to structure it a bit. So open space is a widely known, concept, and what we're going to do in this today is use the standard format, but in an online way. So we're going to keep it very straight. We are keep it very simple. We will ask you now, as a person, as a facilitator, I'm asking you to think about what topics would you like to talk today. And don't say so many topics, just one topic suggestion is enough from one person. And we're going to take, let's say, a couple of those topics as theme comes. And so now, next 2 minutes, think about what are the topics you like to talk about, okay? And then maybe you can set up your space and come on camera, and then we're going to form a conversation on that topic. Anybody can speak, and I'll just be a facilitator. I'll also add my viewpoints. Okay, it's like the typical way a conversation in open space goes. So I got one topic so far, and a gentle reminder to everybody, if you're on call, to contribute what topic you like to discuss in this open space today. So we're going to create maybe 5 to 10 minutes time box for each topic, and then we'll keep rolling the ball after one topic after the other. So the first topic which we got is from Jigar, and Jigar Sanghvi, USTIN. He says that self-organizing teams, how do they look like, and how to build one? If this is the scheduled topic of discussion for this slot, so we can definitely take this one. I hope most of you will be very interested to share their one pointer or 2 pointers, as well as question back what to do, what not to do. So we're going to begin with this topic, but at the moment I am collecting your inputs for the other topics. So another topic is shared by Mr. RC Goel, to manage oneself during this current situation everyone is facing. What I mean, how to, okay? And I would like to Priyank to share his experience on this, definitely. So I didn't get any topic yet, okay? So again, a gentle reminder, if you're on call and you can come on camera, you're welcome to come on camera, and you can join the conversation. Jigar, why not you come on camera and talk about what your thoughts around this topic is, and then I'll add mine, and then we'll request others to add theirs. That's how it goes, right? Why not we talk about, I don't want to convert into a Q&A session. Yeah, perfect. Jigar is here now. Fantastic. Good to see you, Jigar. And hope we can safe. So begin. Maybe just rephrase your question, what your question or your thought is, and how are you experiencing it right now in your company or maybe in your experience. I like mine. We'll request others whosoever like to come on camera. You're welcome to come on camera and share your thoughts.
Sure.
Go ahead. Over to you.
Sure. So I'm working as an agile coach with a couple of squads, and one of the challenging things I have always felt is to consistently keep the journey for consistently keep the squad on the journey of self-organization and self-management. So as and when there are occasions during the stand-up or any other occasions, I try to coach the team members and the Scrum Master uh, on the event basis. But then I was keen to understand if there are any more techniques or resources. I'm not sure because apart from the coaching aspect, if there are any views, I'm happy to hear.
Fantastic. So anybody who wants to pitch in first, and then I'll talk about my, at least I have three stories immediately coming in my mind the moment I saw this wonderful question about self-organizing coming in. But then I like to hear from someone who has something to share on this topic first. Anybody can go ahead. My dear friend Prashant Gulwadi is on call. Maybe you can hit on this. Prashant Arsigar sir is on call. Prashant MJ is on call. A lot of good people I know. Everybody I know. In fact. Shilpi Goel, you want to go ahead and share some thoughts on this, Shilpi?
Yeah, sure. I can. I will be happy to share. Hi. So I think that's a very good topic that Jigar you brought up, and I think this is the biggest pain area because when you're really working with the teams and you're planning to align them, and there it comes with the differences in maybe culture or understanding, and also maybe the self goals, etc. And then it's very hard to align and build a self-organizing organizing team. So it's a very practical problem, I would say. But for me, like I think the first key is to create trust in the team, and that really helps. That if we are able to, like the key is to first uh, prepare or enforce a very comfortable environment and a trustworthy environment that so that people can open up, because there can be many reasons that people don't open up because they are suppose sometimes shy, or they are not confident on their solutions, or sometimes they feel that they would lose the power of like the importance or the SME role that they might have, so they are reluctant to share the knowledge, or sometimes they are just shy that it would expose that they don't know about something. So there can be different views coming from different people, but we have to foster this that I mean it's completely okay to know something more and share it. You wouldn't lose your importance, or it's completely okay not to know, and have a cross skill in the team rather than having individuals in the team. So that needs to be promoted through some measures.
Fantastic, Shilpi. Thanks for your thoughts. And now we have Prashant Gulwadi on camera. We'd like to hear you as well, Prashant. What your thoughts are?
Thank you for the opportunity. Some of us actually hesitate to open up because of the self-confidence based upon the communication skills that we have. Most of us come from vernacular background. We think vernacular and speak English. So that is maybe a mind block that we have that needs to address gradually. And the topic which came up in this discussion in the facilitation skills, when you rotate the role of the facilitator, people start coming to comfort zone more. So that is one factor that we have tried to groom in the team. Be comfortable with your own team, talk, even if you're wrong, skills are not good, be open, and there's a two-way communication to be encouraged and fostered.
Fantastic thoughts. So, Arsigar, we can go ahead.
Yes, I personally feel most of us, when we are at home or communicating in social circle, all the values of agile are with us and we are using them, including self-organizing. I do not know what happens moment we enter in our professional space, but something happens that we look for how to. This is my thought.
Fantastic. So I'm going to add now new flavors. Okay. So self-organizing teams is a metaphoric way to, you know, talk about a futuristic state for a team. I'm sure that Jigar agrees as a coach with me, and all of you will agree that we want everybody to be a great team, right? Who doesn't want to be a great team? It's a metaphoric way. And most of us are already human, so they look like humans only. So, there's nothing different. They have emotions, they have feelings, they have thoughts, they have problems, they have challenges, whatnot, right? So it's just a common human system. It's just another team, okay? The difference they create as a self-organizing team. And I'm gonna add a flavor to it, like as RC Goel sir asked me, like because I was talking to him on phone, like so I'm going through COVID myself, and I had learned a lot of things in between by myself. So I'm going to talk about that later, which is a little different thing. So first, important message is in my view about self-organizing is in the current circumstances, which is not going to go at least it looks like to me to for another year or so. And it should not be correlated actually. It is basically triggered because of the situation, because we are all remote, but self-directed is the most important trait of a self-organizing team, which is basically is a prior version of it is called self-managing team, right? So self-managing is a state, I would say, one, and then the self-directed. So autonomy has taken the priority. Everybody is independent contributor today, and they need to be directing themselves in the best possible way for the bottom line results. Is the one of the high performing, or you can say self-organizing team critical trait. So I'll talk about we talked about problem statement, we talked about where the ball looks like and what to be done. But I'll tell you like how does as Jigar's question was like if there is a technique which I can share with him. So that's very interesting thing. I'm gonna share one technique like so. You know what? Actually, we need to talk about I'll give you one story first. Like, so I was working for a company which is into e-commerce, one of the biggest one in the UK, and I was coaching their 150 people, large organization, small size indeed, but mid size I would call it. So 150 people, there were like some 10, 15 teams in there, and each of this team was like differently organized as well as having different traits. One of that team was like where I was very actively working with that point in time as a scrum master. One day I was like a little late, so for the because of the Bangalore traffic, right? That was the time I was working with them. So I reached a little late, so I informed my team that I'm running late in traffic. Why not you guys manage yourself a little bit or maybe something. I just informed them, and I was like a little worried like whether the things will be moving forward or not, as unconscious coach, right? So I reached there. What I heard is like, I thought like they haven't done any daily stand-up. Like, that is the most common Scrum Master or maybe Agile coach feeling, right? Like, they just keep it for take it for granted. Nothing will happen. Nothing will change. So I am, as a conscious person, reached there. Everybody was working and they were all sitting on their desks. So consciously, I asked one person, "What happened? Everything is all good." Yeah, we did everything actually. There's like so nothing to worry. We didn't really stand up ourselves. And that's like one thing which is very critical. Like they need to know the situation. They don't depend on a person just to run the show, right? So that's one of the self-organizing team's nature, right? One fine day, the same team I'm talking about, extending the story now to another scenario or observation. I saw like one of the developers, was working on his laptop or system, and then two of those were standing on his head, right? And I was like walking from that corridor, and I asked them uh, because I was curious to know what they're doing, three people together. And then nothing boss was saying, just carry on. Have your the regular schedule. We're just solving a problem. So as a coach, as a scrum master, I don't have to tell them when they need to group as an unit and solve a problem, because sometimes we need to tell people that hey, we are facing a problem. Why not two of you should join together and pair up, and then maybe a couple of you can solve it together. That's an instruction-led system, right? Instead of that, we need to create an ecosystem where people know that they're empowered to make a pair or a group, and then they can solve themselves. So they need to be self-organizing to solve a problem. That is one observation. Another one is like, I was just like, one day I just saw that one of them actually having a pen in his hand, and then he or she was like, like that was a girl actually. So her name was Anjali. Is Anjali. She was writing something on the board, right? And all of them actually were discussing like, how to overcome that problem statement. I said like, what are you doing? So this is like, we're just doing a hurdle. It's like a retro, and we're just trying to solve this problem. And I was like, okay, fantastic. So it was just like, second or third day of the sprint, and you're not waiting for the last day to come and then retrospect and then fix it in the next sprint. So they were very proactive. Proactive is a self-organizing trait, right? If people know that that's their authority to solve a problem. And these are the things which is very critical. Now coming to Jigar's original question, just to conclude my point, how to coach them? We need to give them scenarios where they can create equations like this, right? It is very difficult piece, right? So you need to let them struggle, let them solve the problem together, let them bond with each other, and coach for problem solving, which is the most critical element in my opinion, right? So the same team, I'm just going to tell you how I coach them once, and just to conclude this topic thought at my end, and then we'll hear from others. You know, one of the guy, I mean, like, you might find always in teams, like, guys like that was like very geeky, but very unorganized, right? So if you give him a technical problem, he'll solve it overnight. But then if you ask him to talk about what is his plan, and if he's up to something, he cannot really clearly explain it sometimes. Sometimes he's very organized, but sometimes not. So it's like a very great trait of geeky guys. So I learned this, and I also learned the other girl, which I just named. She was very smart and she was very organized. So I paired them. I said like, okay, both of you will follow up on each other, and then check that are you all organized well? Like, do you have a plan in place for the sprint? Are you updating your status, and are you running the show by yourself? Okay. So once I paired them up, eventually the girl became responsible for the guy. She started updating and everything, right? So, and that guy started getting recognition, like, he's doing really great now all of a sudden. So we could figure it out, the difference, right? We shown the difference to that guy, that what it means to be organized, where the other girls help. And eventually one day the girl was not gonna come. It was her planned leave now for a week or so. So all of a sudden he's again in the red zone, and then he didn't want it to be in the red zone because it's questionable zone. So he himself started doing it, right? So because you've shown the value, like what kind of recognition you get being self-organized, what kind of support you get, what kind of benefit you get. So we have to coach people. These are just one technique. I just pair up people, and I find like how to organize them in a way that they become self-organizing. So he become a little bit self-directed over the time. It's difficult. This technique will not help to coach people in all the circumstances. It works, sometimes it doesn't, but there are many other techniques like that. So that's my thought. Let's hear someone else's thought now in this continuation. So who wants to add here? What are your thoughts? I think
Hello,
Padmavati.
this is Padmavati. Yeah, I'm also an agile coach in TCS. I'm working as an agile coach from 3 years in TCS. But I got an opportunity as a Scrum Master recently in a fixed price, fixed scope, and fixed milestones, which is not at all an agile, but I have to do it in an agile. So that was the challenge. And the biggest challenge that I had is all are newcomers and they don't know about the system or the application. Only one or two people are there, they're also juniors to the team. So here that comes the biggest challenge as an agile coach and a scrum master, that how will I teach them agile at least? And the sprint started all of a sudden and they didn't give any time for team building or anything. The team is also planned and given to me. It's nothing that we can do at that point of time. I think you are able to understand, right? So in that situation, so what I did, we don't have laptops, we don't have correct Zoom or anything, no customer ID. So these are all the challenges that I have. But the first sprint of we were able to deliver at least like 6 stories, which are all technical only, but the team, the only thing I used to do is the daily, not only the daily stand up. Okay, I used to be continuously in calls with them, explaining that, okay, this is the person with 3 years in the application. Now these are the juniors. Pair them up, as Prashant told, right? So we were like, we used to have the separate Zoom meetings for each of every couple, 1-2 pairs of team, who is new, fresher, and the person who is having that little bit knowledge he's not an SME also, but we paired them like that. And then I suddenly, like almost like end of the sprint, I was sick, completely sick, that I couldn't even get up. So the next day I was asking the team that what you people did. No, yesterday we were all in the calls and we completed this so and so task which is there. So that gave me really a very good happiness that yes, whatever we are trying to do for them, that is reciprocating in that self-organizing, or the accountability and the responsibility people are taking. Though they are trainees, right? They understood that, okay, the Scrum Master is trying to help us. Let us do our part when they are not there. So, I mean, that is how we can build it. Otherwise, like if we preach, they don't do, is what am I feeling. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very nice thought, Padmati. So I just want to actually highlight very relevant at that end, right? We have a very new joining and a girl from Ghaziabad. We are a remote organization, just like you guys. We are hiring people from all over the world. So we just got a girl, and she's very brilliant. So all of a sudden, we got a very proactive person, and it's just like a force, right? Just like Padmati is saying, if someone as a person understands that, if you have one or two such kind of characters in your team who are self-organized, a bit of it, and if they can be self-directed as well, if they know how to direct, you can groom them very fast, and they can influence everybody, very easy. So that's exactly one person who is quite organized, or maybe quite proactive to solve a problem, or maybe is very determined to deliver something at the end of the day, is a person who actually creates, a challenge, or I would say demand in the professional language, right? A competition for everybody, and that influence is very effective in the teams, right? So this is another way or a technique to find a right person, groom them, and then create a demand within the team. Like if somebody is leading the show in a way, like being organized himself or herself is gonna be a very effective technique as well. So over to you guys. What thoughts you have? You want to add something?
Priyank, this is Karthik here. So hi everyone, this is Karthik. I'm an enterprise agile coach. I coach several clients into new ways of working. So just to add my point here, right? Self-organizing is really a buzzword. It's a self-managing now, as per the 2020 Scrum Guide. So my 2 cents here is basically I kind of try to bring a quote from the book Drive by Daniel H. Pink, where he talks about 3 factors. Right? The key factors are autonomy, purpose, and mastery. So I would like to bring in the quote that these 3 factors are really important for a team to become self-organizing, right? Self-managing. What we mean by self-organizing or self-managing is we don't want really a manager sitting on top of the team to guide them, to direct them, right? We want the team to lead themselves and be accountable, right, for their tasks. And in my experience, the coaching, I've been coaching for more than a decade now. I've seen where teams are really highly performing, where they keep others accountable, right? If one person is not completing a task in a team, like what Priyanka was saying, like one person was not completing a task in a team, the other person would, in a friendly manner, nudge the other person to make sure he or she completes the task on time. It could be a small, trivial task, even updating a Jira board on a day-to-day basis, right? So the driving factors, I would say, is for any coach to start with a new team. I think we need to think about the 3 factors: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. That would actually start towards building that would be the starting point to build a self-organizing team. And eventually, yes, there are other things that fall in place.
Very nice. Sharing that. Who wants to go next before I add into Karthik's thoughts and let you know the flavor of my experiences? Anyone has any other new thought to be added here?
I can maybe add 2 techniques, as we were also talking about the solution, that what can be the techniques. Maybe I can share my experience that for me, what helped is, for example, like to raise these observations during retrospective. That okay, so I observed that during refinement only maybe 1 or 2 people were speaking. Why not others? And then take the feedback from the team. And when during retrospective they are more comfortable to speak out, and then really collect those points, and like at that time encourage them to really participate at least with the points, and then really identify the problems and then tackle it as a team and taking the solution, because sometimes they are more comfortable when everybody's speaking on the same topic, then they tend to open up more. And the other thing that helped, and the second thing I can share is the moderation, because sometimes for example, even on daily, as we are all on digital platform now, so if one person is always sharing the board and the others are just so first is like always share the board, if is because sometimes it happened that people were speaking but that's not engaging. When they are seeing something, it helps. And if it is only shared sometimes by scrum master, then again, like others feel that they just have to speak their status and move out. They don't feel engaged or connected with others. So to have terms for sharing the board and then moderating the daily, that helps to get people involved. And at least the one who's sharing, he would be actively listening to what others are saying. And when we circulate it, it brings more collaboration in the team, and they listen more of what others are also working on, and also it improves the tacit knowledge within the team.
This will be. So one of the great and my favorite, right? Like if I'm not wrong, it's Tom DeMarco, one of the very early pioneer of software engineering. He says like, software engineering is 80, if I'm not wrong, Tom DeMarco or someone. I'm missing on the name of the person, and apologies for that. But he says like, like software engineering, the work which we primarily do now as knowledge workers is 80% psychology, 20% technology, right? So if you can understand people, and most of us are engineering or masters of business administration or maybe some other equivalent degree, right? Master of engineering or MTech or something like that. We may not have studied psychology in that detail, right? And if you see that, that is the reason most of these psychology influenced courses are now, very popular, so that the engineers like us, right, or maybe the managers like us, the management professionals like us, or leaders like us can understand humans better. So if you have a team of 10 people, I would say talk a lot, identify their challenges, and then we need to mature them, from a level 1 to maybe level 2 to the level 3 of maturity. One of the very wonderful way to look at it is like, being an unorganized team to an organized, self-organized team that can be divided into different transformation stages. And that would be the final conclusion mark on this topic, maybe in my opinion, but then you can still add more ideas. So you move from unorganized to a little bit of, guided team, right? And just like the examples Shilpi shared and Padmavati shared, and of course Karthik shared, you need to pair up the people. You might actually guide them with the value and coach them about the value proposition which is they get out of it. And then you will have a little bit of better version of the team, and then that becomes, let's say, I won't call it like unorganized anymore, but like a little bit directed. But then it will become a little bit self-directed from there, and then self-managing and self-organizing team. So that could be a great way. In a remote culture, when we are hiring a lot of people, I believe we are explicitly expecting them to deliver something at the end of the day. And that setup is also a very good coaching model, right? I believe some of the coaches will agree with me. And if you're hiring a person now, you know what you want that person to do. So doing the expectation management is also a very good way of coaching people. Like what we are expecting, like Shilpi's example was like, what we're expecting from them. And then we coach a lot about, that idea to them helps a lot. So that's a great thing. Now coming to Karthik's example, like the Daniel Pink's model, I would say there are other ideas as well, which is very important to be added. Another great idea is which is not Daniel Pink's idea, neither Simon Sinek's starting with the why idea, almost same ideas, like and you can map them with Scrum as well, right? Scrum talks about like, you know, you need to have a business goal, right? You need to have a sprint goal as well, and then sprint goal as a nutshell, like, you know, so you have to have a goal through which you will align, which is nothing but a purpose in a way what you will deliver, and then you have you know, mastery, which is very much you know, and purpose, and you know, all that stuff is very mappable objects like different words. So I would say, like, you know, identity coaching is also very critical, and that's another different topic, which is very important topic in this way, in this conversation. When you're guiding a team, you know that those people might have joined you as developers, as you know, as maybe cross-functional people, or maybe full-stack developers. Maybe they may have different roles altogether. But then, what is their actual identity? A lot of people tag themselves and they restrict themselves to learn new skills and, you know, contribute in a better way. They just think that they idealize somebody, right? You know, most of us, like, you know, I was a database developer, and my ideal at that point in time was like another database developer, right? And then whatever that guy says is the ground root. That's the best developer in the world, right? So the database developer doesn't do that and does that. And a lot of people are misguided, and especially, like, you know, when we are dealing with millennials and, you know, Gen X now and Gen Z, and, you know, and we have still a lot of old school people, you know, all of us, right, together. We have to understand and admit that these people do not have the same way of thinking, and then we need to structure the organization to make it more fun place for them. Maybe make a achievement driven organization, objective driven, and, you know, OKR plays a very vital role in things like that. So this is all my critical inputs for you on this topic. Maybe we can we have around, I think, 15 minutes now in hand, if I'm not wrongly reading it in my watch. Maybe we can take one more topic. If anybody else has another good topic to be discussed, we can take that as well. Or maybe if you want to add something, Jigar, you want to add something? Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think it was a great discussion. The stories shared were very good. So thank you, everyone. Yeah. So I had one more topic, but then, you know, I would. When it's second one for me. So sorry.
Today's your day. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask if someone wanted to propose another topic. I'm happy. Otherwise, you know, I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Is it possible to actively encourage personal bondings and to encourage the post-meeting small talk that used to happen during the pre-Zoom and the pre-pandemic times? Because though the moving home and working from home has proven successful, but I definitely believe that somewhere in terms of creating those bonds and those very useful small talk in the corridors and the coffee sessions, they are missing. And is anyone of us doing something different to encourage among our teams?
So I request you to structure it a little bit. I am trying to understand still, okay? And rephrase this and then share it in the chat as well, because I might have missed the whole intent what you. So small talk is what I registered, and the bonding part of it, right? So my purpose for the next topic is proposal. Sorry, it is possible to actively engage personal bondings and to encourage post-meeting small talks, which is just missing. And of course, man, you are bang on the, you know, the heart of the, or you can say you pick the nerve. This is essential, right? Humanness is essential, right? People really need. So I think I was just talking to my team just before this whole conversation, and I requested them actually, which includes Prashant and Jenupur, Prachi, and a couple of others. I had a call with them today. I said, like, why not we talk to every of the speakers who contributed in such a different, you know, difficult circumstances. One of the very critical element is, like, you know, today my talk has been introduced just a day or two before this whole facilitated open spaces, because our dear friends from Surat actually lost their family members who were supposed to speak and facilitate. And I felt very bad about it. Like, you know, I mean, like, I'm myself at the moment recovering from COVID, but I felt very bad because I know the pain, like, you know, they're going through. And I have deepest, you know, empathy and, you know, my regards for them. So we need to speak with people. I think that's a very great idea. And I like to begin this topic now. We have another 10 minutes maybe. So we'll hear from Jigar first now, because Jigar is the guy who created this thought. So go ahead, Jigar. And then we'll all add. We'll invite people to share their ideas and opinions.
Yeah. Uh, honestly, I haven't done yet anything until now. But something happened last week when from our client side, the chapter lead, when the meeting was going on, he did not. So we were around 38 agile coaches on the call, and there was no single word spoken about work. But given the direct situation of COVID in India, he was just expressing concern, and he was trying to hear stories about what's the case, and is everyone fine. So that thing really struck. All the entire half an hour was used to discuss the personal aspects about how we are coping, even though there was a group of people on the US side as well. So that was a very impactful experience, and I thought that he showed great leadership in doing so. And there I thought, are there more things that could be done to help you to create a human touch with the team?
Brilliant. Very good thought. So we'd like to invite others to share your thoughts. How are you encouraging, these kind of small talks, or you can say personal bonding, which is, I believe, I never solved this puzzle, Jigar. Like I tell you, I'm very nirvana state mindset guy in my own world type of a person. So I have to learn this skill to talk to people now in this difficult circumstances, right? When you're all remote, you don't know how to solve this. Shilpi has to share something. Shilpi, go ahead. Over to you, Shilpi. You are unmuted, so I am requesting you to share it.
Okay, so again, sorry for being the first one, but yeah, maybe.
First one. You are not actually, but yes, in a way, you are the first one after
Okay.
this.
Okay, so I can share what we do. What helped for us was like I'm in Czech Republic, and here like the beer is the most popular thing. So we call it beer sessions, and of course, like everybody would be like just pitch in and they just talk in general. So it's sometimes chaotic because so many people on the same call, but it really helps to just loosen up and talk in general. So it's like having these icebreaker sessions helps.
Fantastic. Great, great. Go ahead. Who has other thoughts about the small talk? I'm going to share mine with Arshi Goel sir recently. Arshi Goel sir, you would like to share something on this talk?
I just want to mention it will be good because people are on video. It will be good to compliment how they look. They look very smart or smartly dressed. This may help in breaking the ice in other classes. This is the thought I had.
Fantastic. I'll tell you about mine and Arsi Goel's story now. So we both actually, as you know, Arsi Goel sir is our honorary advisor for this community, and he helped us and guided me and all of us collectively to, reach wherever we are. And a lot of good people like Prashant Ulwadi and many other people have contributed a lot. So yesterday, day before yesterday, when RC Goel sir got to see hear that I am actually having COVID, he called me and he said, like, how are you managing? I said, like, I learned to cook, which is I never thought in my whole life, right? I can cook anything. So we talked about how to make soup, and I proved a point. Just like as a brilliant new innovator of creating soup, I proved a point. I said it is much easier to make as you're making it, and you will eventually drink it because that's you who created as a cook. That's whatever soup it is. So I said, like, it is easier than preparing any other dish like Maggie, even, right? It's easier than that. So we talked about that, and it is maybe one of the very few times we have talked about something out of the league, out of the the backlog, right? We talk about most of the time a problem, and I reached out to him and talked about we are facing this challenge. in community and in this event, and why not we talk about that, and how can solve that. So he gives me some great ideas or maybe some references and how he has solved it in past and things like that. But this time you're all talking about how to make soup, and likewise, I encourage you to make attempts to talk about something else. I was just like with a client actually, Jigar, Shilpi, and everybody on call right now, and he just all of a sudden saw something in my background right then, and just like a plant like this, and he said like, okay, so do you also like gardening? And he's my client, right? One of very senior authority in the ecosystem, and then we talked about only plants in the main call. So it was not like a small talk, but we gone ahead and because we never saw each other till now, and like in 1.5 years in COVID time we are working. So we talked about plants, and he learned about my interest in plants, and I learned about his wife's interest in plants, and then we talked about that. So just go ahead, make this personal conversation, which will be, in my opinion, would be for your lifetime. So it's not going to go away. Those friends that you're making in this difficult time is going to be with you forever. I believe Renju has something to share. Renju is on call. Renju, go ahead.
Hi Priyank, hi everybody. I would like to share a few points from my experience. I was working in UAE, but was working with the teams across the globe. So I was very happy to see this topic came up here. And we as project managers, it's very important for us to know deeply our team, and that too in the current times. So these kind of communications will really help us. Maybe if I have a team member who is struggling in some ways at work or personally, so these kind of conversations will help us to know, or maybe someone can tell about maybe another person who was not there in the call today. So when I share a message of empathy to him, so his commitment and that bonding, that is like, it is not that, okay, I expect that, so I show that empathy to him. It is not, but we all as persons, at every point of time, we do need these kind of sentiments, be it work or personal. That is very important. And also, considering this multicultural aspect, that's an important point I would like to mention here. We as Indians have, we do have some chemistry. We develop some chemistry while we work within the team. At the same time, when we work across teams and across like cross-cultural teams, we have to be consciously keep that point also in mind. Maybe there could be a team member who might not be as vocal as you. He might be needing a little bit of hand holding or bring little effort to make him into the comfort zone so that he also speaks up. So that kind of that should also be helping.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's it.
Sorry.
That's my 2 cents. Yes. Thank you.
I was just curious here, actually. I believe Jigar also came on call, and he also had to say something now. So this is interesting, actually. Because the challenge is like this. Like, we are on multi people or in a group call online, and we're talking to one, and which means you're actually ignoring everybody in a way. So it's not easy. One thing which worked very effectively for me for last 1.5 years is, I always follow up with people personally, immediately. Like, like for example, right now we are talking, and this is the first time I'm hearing Renji and Renju and Jigar and Shilpa. First time, right? I would love to talk to you again. Maybe that is the way I solve and then build the whole conversation from here. So I attempt in my team, as always, like, instead of having group conversations, solving the purpose, I always feel that because maybe that person might not, just like on Renju's point, might not have been able to express the challenge properly, giving the benefit of doubt and keeping empathy, calling them and asking them simple question: how can I help you today? Something like that. I heard that there is a challenge going on. I just have this follow-up call to extend my help for you, and that way you might actually, it's like in words, sharing expression for me as a person is impossible. I never learned that art, so I know that it would be difficult for. I believe, I don't know. I'm not claiming for the void. It would be difficult for people to explain that as in words, like what my emotions are. If I'm frustrated solving my business problem today, or maybe I had a very bad call with a client, or maybe I had a very bad something happening at my place, right? Whatever it is, it's difficult. So we always have to give them, more time and also more opportunity to explain the same thing again and again, and be very patient with that, right? Just like kids, dealing with small kid, when you actually ask them to solve the same thing. I mean, like, I'm just learning that art as well. I'm not good at that, but then I'm just learning from here and there and both collectively. So I believe Karthik has to share something now, and Jigar also wants to speak. So Jigar, go ahead. Karthik, go ahead. One after other. And thanks for sharing that wonderful, brilliant point. Okay. And we can then conclude the conversation. I believe time is running out of the hand. So Jigar, over to you. If you have something to share, Karthik, anybody who would like to add something in this topic?
I think I don't have anything more to share. I'm very happy. I know to hear again the stories about what we do. It's very helpful. If Karthik, you have anything to share, please go ahead.
Yeah, maybe exchanging greetings would also help. So I learned from Prashant Gulwadi that he's very sincere about sending greetings, and also Indian cricket team score. I don't actually follow cricket, but he sends me like India won today. So actually, and he gives me at least for that second, like he trained me just sending the message, like he sent Happy Ram Navami, and okay. So I'm also a believer in the same concept. So I just respond him. So sending greetings also helps us a lot, right? So it is a wonderful way to greet people and talk about festivals in these circumstances. Would be also a great way to connect. Karthik, you want to conclude this topic?
Yeah. Hi again. So just a few words from my side, right? It's
Please.
very important more than ever that this topic I've been hearing. I've been part of more than 100 meetup groups around the globe, and this is one of them. So this is a topic which is often being brought up, right? How do we take care of people? Whom do we work with on a day-to-day basis? Because we are all working remotely, and most of us do not even show up on cameras because of obvious reasons that we need to get dressed up and all those stuff, right? Conscious of our looks and all those stuff, we don't get into cameras often. But how do you take care of people? How do we know how others are doing? So this is also concerning me as an agile coach. So what the couple of pointers what I did was small things, right? Because you cannot radically change everything day and say, guys, we are going to spend every week we are going to spend a couple of hours to meet and greet or have a lean coffee. No, that's not possible because everybody is occupied with their own objectives and all those stuff, chasing our deliverables, meeting our deadlines and all that, right? So we started with simple thing, right? When you pick up a phone, every day in today's world, everything is a Zoom meeting, right? People agree with me. Every small discussions you have, you end up having a Zoom meeting, right? It's not like earlier days where you have a water cooler chat or you talk people in restrooms or lifts, gossips and all those stuff. All those days are gone. So everything is a Zoom meeting. So whenever we call a person through Zoom, the first thing that I started doing, modeling myself, is if I don't know that person, I will start introducing myself as I did in this call as well. And I like to remind that person who am I, because if I'm not connected to that person for a long time, right, he might have forgotten, obviously, right? We are all human. So being human is one thing which I think we need to put into practice, and greeting that person, asking that person, first 5 minutes of the call, I will not talk anything transactional. I made up a mind that I should only spend first 5 minutes of the call, and I will plan my agenda only for the rest of the time. Right. So the first 5 minutes, I will ask him about his personal things, how is he doing, his family, and all those stuff. Same wise, he will reciprocate me as well. So it's more of an exchange of greetings and asking each other. And people liked it, and I extended doing something more during retrospective. After the retrospective is ended, so what we used to do is we used to have this kind of a chat. It's very completely voluntary. People who want to have an extended chat after the retrospectives, we kind of have a kind of a water cooler chat, a gossip, something which they want to have, right? Or share some lessons from the personal thing. So these are the small things which I started doing. I mean, people can follow if they like it.
Very nice. Karthik, fantastic. It works actually. So just to admit one mistake I did just recently, and I corrected that. So I called my friend who stays in Gurgaon, a very dear friend of mine, runs a company, decent sized, mid sized now, small size IT startup company, and a friend from for many years now. And I called one day like, hey, I have this problem. So can you solve this? He says like, hey, can you please ask me how I'm doing now? So we had a conflict there. And then we solved it somehow in the couple of minutes itself. So he said like, at least ask me like how I'm doing. So I said like, okay, what happened to you? I couldn't imagine that something could happen to anybody, right? So he said like, I'm facing corona problem and with my whole family. Oh. And I felt very bad in my heart. I said like, I never asked him ever that how are you doing, because I feel he's a strong person. So I think everybody is facing some or other problem now, and some or other way impacted. So I go 100% with Karthik. Never begin a conversation with work. Always begin with personal thing. Okay. So I think it was a wonderful conversation, and we need to conclude this. And I like to thank everyone who participated in this conversation. Just one request: you all are very encouraged to contact us back to speak on any of the topic and upcoming events, and also volunteer and facilitate with us. And also please feedback how this session was, as Shreya would love, and I would also love to see the feedback. So you're all welcome to leverage Agile Network India platform for the next time, and we are planning the next events. Over to you, Shreya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyank, for a wonderful facilitation, and thank you to all the audience and the people who participated for their participation. Thank you so much.